From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Heads Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Well, the heat is on, as they say, and we're beginning to feel it. We felt it yesterday. Some of us in the valley did get over 100 degrees, just barely by a few degrees. Temperatures continue to climb. We're going to notice it today. And we do have that excessive heat warning for the valley. So that's where we have, of course, the biggest heat, right? And then as you start going into the mountains, there is a heat advisory with highs between 100 and 105 there, just depending on where you are. A place like Modoc County, I think it may be a little bit more difficult to at least reach that century mark, but it definitely will be close. And you'll also notice just for Friday through Tuesday for the advisories, I have a feeling that may be allowed to expire a little bit sooner than that. So we still have that heat out there. That's something we've got to really contend with here. And I want to show you the National Weather Service heat risk. This is a category that the kind of an algorithm they come up with here. So when you start getting in the reds and oranges, that's moderate to major risk. That is what it looks like for your Friday. Let's extend that on into your Saturday. And what we're going to see here is that this area of red is going to expand, and we're going to see that get a little bit larger. So now we're getting into the major and even a few spots where we got purple of that extreme category. Now let's take you into Sunday. And Sunday, what we'll see happen is we're starting to see a lot of those reds kind of get off the map here. So we're mainly in the moderate to major, but still a few spots, especially in the foothills, of seeing that extreme category. So the question is, we've got this heat risk. What are the guidelines for it? Well, the National Weather Service has three things that they look at when they're looking at issuing these risks out there. So how unusual is the heat for this time of the year? You look at the normal high for this time of the year, it's about 96 to 97 in the valley. But if we're going to get up to 110, that's a lot hotter than the normal. So we're seeing a fairly early heat wave, if you will. Now, the duration of the heat, including both daytime and nighttime temperatures. So if you don't get much relief overnight, say it's only staying in the 70s and even 80s, that can make a big difference as well. So that's another category that they look at. And of course, what kind of threat will it have on health impacts? And that is something when you think about the elderly, and of course, the extremely young kids, especially the toddlers. All right, so here's a look at our headlines. Okay, so we've got the first significant heat wave of the season. Now, the heat wave will peak over the weekend, but there is relief in sight. It's still going to be hot, but we're not going to be 110 degrees in the valley for a long time. So here is a look at your forecast and your planner for today. Here's the coast. Here's the valley, right? 104 degrees. This is kind of almost getting off the map there, but you can kind of see what we're talking about here. It's getting hot. 105 degrees for Redding, 106 for Red Bluff, Chico, about 102 degrees. Taking to the mountains where there's no more thunderstorms, by the way, even for the eastern mountains. So I'm expecting low 90s for places like Siskiyou County, but Trinity County a bit warmer. But there you can see Susanville 88 and Bernie 91, a bit warmer in Paradise with a high of 94 degrees. And those lake levels, we've actually watched the capacity drop for both Shasta Lake and Oroville. Remember, the last quite a while it's been over 100%. Now it's dropped down to 99%. But what's good for Trinity Lake is that not only are we seeing the percentages go up, this has gone up as well from the historical average. But unfortunately, we're only seeing the lake rise about 1/10 of a foot each day. But hey, we'll take whatever we can get at this point. So the low pressure system that's been responsible for the thunderstorms in the mountains, that has shifted eastward. And it's no longer going to have an impact on our weather, and as a result, too, warmer temperatures. But I want to show you the long-range forecast, because one of the things that I've noticed in the long range is that it's been picking up on the potential for a little bit of activity, especially to the north. That's Wednesday of next week. We take you into Thursday of next week. There again, mainly to the north, Modoc, Siskiyou, even Del Norte County, it's showing indication that we could see a little bit of activity as well. And then by Friday, it looks like it'll be gone. But look at Del Norte County on Friday. Still maybe a little bit of activity here. Now, this is a long range. You can't look at this and go, this is exactly what's going to happen. But I've seen consistency in that potential, especially for Siskiyou and Modoc counties. We'll have to kind of wait and see, but certainly a pattern we're watching. Another pattern we're watching is the heat, right? We were talking about this heat wave. So the weekend, there's the bubble of heat and especially even down to the south. It's going to be hot down in Southern California as well. Then we go into Monday, Tuesday of next week. Now, this is something you have to look closely, but there is a little bit of a trough of low pressure right here. What that's doing is it's helping to kind of push that heat down to the south and east. So as a result, our temperatures start to drop, but it's a very weak trough of low pressure. So temperatures are dropping, but not by much. They're still well above normal and still over 100 degrees in the valley. But you see this right here, you see the darker shade or the lighter shade of orange? This is warmer air still, but it's preventing this heat from building back up and it's preventing this heat from coming in. But it's also an area of low pressure, a weak one, and that's the reason why you saw some of those showers and thunderstorms in the north end of the state, Siskiyou, Monroe counties, and particularly even Del Norte, right? But back to the heat here, we're talking about above normal temperatures, but as we go to the next 8 to 14 days, the good news is when we look at the long range, we're actually closer to near normal for this time of the year. But keep in mind, normal for this time of the year is still 96, 97 in the valley and 80s, well into the 80s for the higher elevations. So it's still going to be hot, just not 110 degrees hot. All right, so here's your forecast for today. Not quite 110 yet, but the temperatures are climbing. 105 for Redding, 106 for Red Bluff. And in the mountains, Trinity County, some of the warmer spots in the mountains at 97, 95 degrees for Hoopa. There's Alturas, a high of 86, 88 degrees for Susanville. Quincy, you'll see a high of about 82 degrees. And we take a look at your forecast for the next 7 days. Well, there you have it. It is going to be hot, even for the mountains. We're not quite 100 degrees. It could touch 100 degrees, I think, in some spots for Siskiyou County. But there you can see Tuesday, a high of 95 degrees for your 4th of July. All right, taking a look at Modoc County, those temperatures climbing as well, mid to upper 90s for the peak of the heat wave. And for the eastern mountains and for Susanville, we're sitting at the upper 90s here for Saturday and Sunday. Let's take you into the valley where temperatures are about 110 degrees as we go into Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And looking at those temperatures slowly dropping. Trinity County, there you can see, of course, looking at those temperatures somewhere 100 degrees or higher for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and for the coast. That's where it is. That always looks so refreshing, especially when I'm talking about all this heat, to go to the coast and say, hey, look, it's only going to be 65 on Saturday, and not to mention Sunday. Low to mid 60s for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.